Oh my God, it's Young Semaj.
I can't lie, feel like I've been born again. Feel like I got it, feel like a nigga on again. The only difference is this time they get the grown man. A nigga learn something, I finally understand. I got a plan, got $1,000 in my hand, but I ain't gonna spend it, I invest it, flip it. Haters getting mad cause I'm the best, period. Cause I won't take a breath or take a rest. I'm serious, I won't take a breath or take a rest. I'm serious. I can sleep when I'm dead, period. I got too much in me not to get it out, homie. They asking who? I don't see no owls, homie. Got that eagle on me, better hope you people, homie. I'm undefeated, homie, no one else is equal, homie. I'm dropping teasers, previews only, but when you get the full episode, come see the homie. I quit my job, but I never clocked out. A nigga on the grind while you sleep knocked out. You can tell I want it, no stretching, no yawning.
What's going on, people? You just tuned into the SEMAJvlog. Today it's gonna be fun. Today I'm gonna talk to you about top 5 books that you need to read. Top 5 books that you need to read. So should be a fun vlog. So anyway, let's talk about it. So number 1, or they're in no particular order, they're just 5 books that you must read. So number 1 is Success Principles by Jack Canfield. I think that's how you say his name. He's the guy that did the Chicken Soup for the Soul and everything. So yeah, so the reason why I say Success Principles, it taught me the most about strategy and about taking advantage of laws and principles. I like how it started off with the first principle being take 100% responsibility for what happens to you, for everything. Just take 100% responsibility. I like that particularly because that thinking you hear throughout all teaching of success, but also because it gives you control, it gives you power. And that so it's like a lot of principles in this one, and I probably read it about 3 times, probably about 2.5 to 3 times, and it really transformed my life. Like I said, strategy, taking advantage of principles is what it taught me. And there's a lot of principles in there to apply. I guess I would say that probably the only negative thing I got out of that was sometimes when there is an abundance of something, it can sometimes overwhelm you and give you what they call paralysis by analysis, or analysis by paralysis, whatever it is. Basically, you start thinking too much, and you feel overwhelmed, and so you just shut down just because you feel overwhelmed. But I would say all the principles that he have in there are good. I think it's like 55 to 60 principles, I can't remember. But basically what it's teaching you is strategy. One other thing I would say on that is that it really helped me also know what I wanted out of life, because it had like some strategies in there where you write down like 30 things you want to have, do, and be. 30 of each things in your life, and then so it makes you think about what you really want, instead of being told, because a lot of times we're programmed and told what to like and what we want. So anyway, not to go too much more into that, but Success Principles is a must read. You must read Success Principles. Read it 2 or 3 times if you can. Okay. Next up is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, and I read this one a couple of times as well at different seasons. When I read the Success Principles, I read that one like 3 times over in the same season. With As a Man Thinketh, I've read it when I was young, like 16, 17, 18. I've read it in my 20s, and now I'm 30, and I read it in my late 20s as well. And it, what it did for me is mindset. Just really confirming in me already what I already knew. But it teaches, positive thought and self awareness and self love. And so, it the whole concept is, who you think you are is who you are, and that's really true because, we become like we're the sum total of our thoughts, in a certain sense, because thoughts lead to action. Um, yeah. So, and that's an old book, man. I mean, talking about I can't even like way back. I don't know, thinking maybe even before the 1800s. I don't know, but that's an old book, and those principles in there reign true. Great read, you know, and a lot of examples in there. I remember reading that book when I was younger, excelling to try to go higher in my career path. I remember reading that book and I was like, so it really did do a change in me. Um, the next one is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert. I can't say his last name. Um, it's a very hard last name, but um, Rich Dad Poor Dad is the book. This one probably is um, different than the rest of the ones because it's about money, and it was about money. And so and I've read other books pertaining to money, but this one was real interesting because it had the storyline of a real personal storyline. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad. So he's basically talking about his rich dad, who was his friend's dad, and his poor dad, which was his dad. But he's basically talking about how his dad had all the accolades, all the education that that's needed, everything that people say that you should get, but how he was still not rich and still barely making ends meet in the end. And then his he's at his friend's house and they're doing something, and his friend's dad walks up and he's basically gives them the principle of making money. And so that one is talking about assets and liabilities. I really like that part. I really like how he broke that down. How, and this is done in the black community a lot, and I'm just speaking on that because I am black, and I did this a lot. I've done this a lot over my life, and I didn't really know kind of what it was. But anyway, assets and liability. Um, you know, basically what you spend your money on when you're poor is liabilities. So clothes, um, just things that aren't really worthless, cars. How we pay more for our cars than our houses. You know, just senseless stuff. Eating out. All type of crazy stuff that we do, that we spend money on, and we don't get a return back on that. And so he's talking about buying assets. So he's talking about real estate. How a business is an asset, and other things like that. So how that the rich people, they buy assets that make them more money to bring the cash flow in. So um so it's Rich Dad Poor Dad. So that's number three. So number four is Super Rich by Russell Simmons. And I like that one because that principle, it kind of taught me. I think I read that one together with his other book, which was it was more so titled about meditation. But basically, in both books, he was talking about meditation. Just in Super Rich, he was talking about it more so just coming from the aspect of not needing anything, and just knowing that you within yourself have everything that you need. And so when you have that book basically teaches, when you have that mindset, then you can go out and you can do whatever it is you need to do, or accomplish whatever you need to accomplish, because you have a different mindset. Instead of like thinking I gotta get money, or I gotta have it, or I gotta almost to the point where you're worried. The super rich mentality would be like, I have everything I need, so the money, I'm going to do what I need to do, but the money's going to come to me as I'm doing what I need to do. I'm in the right place at the right time, all that, all that type of thing. So basically moving out of an abundance mentality and not out of a lack or poverty mentality. And it's talked about training your mind as well, so that gave me a lot. And I think I read that book about twice as well. Not 100% sure. That one was a couple years ago, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And then I guess the last one would be the $100 Startup. Got to look up the guy's name. Dang it, my bad. I read this one, I remember, on my way back from a cruise. And I went to the Bahamas. I went out of the country, so I was like, wow, just got to see something different. And when I start reading this one, I was like, dang, what this one did for me is it basically took away excuses, because he gave so many ways you can, and this is like, that one is like a more business type book, but it took away excuses about business, because it gave so many ways that you could start a business with $100 or less, or around $100. And and so all you would have to do is do the work. So he gave a lot of ideas in there and strategies, but for that book, it took away excuses. So that's the top 5 books that I think you must read. And overall, I think I gave those because a lot of people deal with money. So the Rich Dad Poor Dad, that one addresses that topic, and so it will really resonate with you because it's a very personal book. It's teaching money principles, but in a very personal way. And so that one, and so you got the money, you got business with the $100 Startup. You got mindset and thinking. So as a man thinketh, and then you got like self awareness, self personal development with the success principles. So that's why I picked those 5, because it's a mixture of a lot of things that could really help you if you read them, man. I've read them, they've helped me. One thing I would say that they probably all have in a lot of those books that I need to do better on, I think that a lot of us need to do better on, is applying. Because you can read all day, but you have to apply, and reading that in the books helps you. But the more you apply, I got wrote down on the board back there one of E.T.'s quotes. Eric Thomas quote, the greatest feeling in the world is execution. And so you just gotta execute, you gotta do it. Once you get the knowledge, you gotta apply it. And so read these books, but apply what you read, and they will change your life.
Divisionary music.
Back in the day, I remember I was little. 3rd of December, cold winter for a nigga. Break his collarbone or he might die in her. Then his mom and pops and only 3 children. Oh my God, who is that in the building? Young Semaj, guess he made it out. How you feeling? Real life example, you can kill it if you willing. I'm on the rise, ain't no ceiling, I ain't chillin'. Tried to make me victim, but I quickly turned the villain. I did my own thing, I played a long game. I want a million, wanna heal ya, ain't no harm in ya. In the lab, and I'm dope, I guess I got the formula.